Hello, it's Andrew Finkel from OpenLung here again today. I'm going to show you how to explore some of the design files for the OpenLung open source ventilator designs through our GitLab. So starting where we left off in our last video, we are on our group page for OpenLung. And if we go into the open source ventilator project, we can see lots of subgroups as well as projects that are happening within this group here. So if we go to sort by the most stars, we can see the OpenLung Emergency Ventilator project here, which is where we are going to look around. This is where a lot of the development is happening of the OpenLung ventilator. And I'm going to kind of give a quick overview of the different directories within this project and an example of a few of the different development projects happening within. So if we go back down to the README, which I showed a little bit in the last video, we can see the different project teams. And each of the teams has a related directory. So two of the more happening communities are the mechanical concepts and the control electronics. So for example, if we want to look at what's happening with the OpenLung control electronics, we can choose this directory here. And we can see it was last updated by Nadim less than a day ago. So we can see where some of the last development has taken place. We can see the different directories within this main directory. And we can get a little bit of a README of how to use this folder here and some common definitions and how the overall control electronics work. Some recommended tools you can use to interact with a lot of the files that are shared here, and the general directory structure. So some instructions on how to view the files and how to store the files within this directory. So if we go back up, we can just have a quick look around at some of the files. Let's look at some of the recent uploads by Nadim. Let's say the user interface and look at some of his mockups. So if we go to some of the LCD screenshots, we could see what an OpenLung display screen may look like while it's operating. So let's go back to the main project directory, or sorry, the main project page. And now that we've seen some of the control electronics, we click the link down below, but we can also access the folder through the main folder in the directory here in the repository. So let's look at some of the mechanical concepts. This was just updated about 20 minutes ago. It was actually me, and I was updating a few files for the JAWS mechanical concept. So let's say we want to look at some of those recent updates. We can see JAWS is under concept 13. And it's similar to the control electronics. If we scroll down to the README, there's some general definitions and some overall instructions on how to interact with this folder or this directory, as well as some tools that are needed to access the mechanical designs, something like SolidWorks, Fusion, or Onshape. So here are some of the leading concepts that are being tested at the moment. You can see they each kind of have a nickname: the belt, the claw, the flapper. I'm going to go and look at JAWS, which was just recently updated. It was actually version C13A2. So I'm going to access that through the directory at the top. So C13A2. And we can see some of the files that have been uploaded within this mechanical concept. So let's see if we can find some pictures of this design. So we're going to go to the most recent design update. And we can look in the main folder. Sometimes there is a README that explains a little bit of what's happening. Sometimes you have to poke around yourself until this README is developed, as things are happening live and developments are being updated in real time. So here's an example of one of the paddles that's used in the JAWS concept. Since I couldn't find an assembly concept, I can quickly go back. So let's say we can take a look at the first version. I know there are some concept images in there. The design updates were not too significant, so some of the images here will look quite good. So this is an example of the JAWS concept where the bag valve mask sits in this cradle here, and two of those paddles, which I just showed you, will compress the bag. This can be hung on a bedside or stacked on a table easily. And I did see a movie. Let's have a quick video of this device in action. So as we can see, the product uses simple CNC or laser cut processes to be assembled, and the BVM can be strapped down and compressed using the two paddles. So today I showed you quickly how the directories within a project work, how you can take a look at some of the design concepts that are being formed under the OpenLung ventilator project, and how you can access these files yourself, play around with them, modify them, and upload them back up into the community. So in a future video, I'll show you how you can actually do that, how to create an account and contribute your own designs and your own feedback. Perhaps if you're a writer, you can help develop the README for the new JAWS concept. Thank you very much, and stay tuned for a future video on how to use Git. Cheers.